Pulitzer for Prime Minister.
It's tempting to compare them, for sure. But there are some pretty big differences. Penaya, too, he built his whole thing on political commentary, activism. He was directly engaging with those issues, those ideologies. And Tate's following, it's more about self-help.
Tate kind of, dude, there's so many young kids that are like, they might have been like 16, but now they're 18 or they're 19 that got so influenced by Andrew Tate. We're like in a different world. There's a lot of kids that were influenced by Andrew Tate. I think he regenerated, meme world. It's totally a meme world. I think he regenerated this masculine thing, but it could be super toxic, you know?
Lifestyle stuff, often with, well, you know, those controversial statements mixed in, his actual policy ideas, way less clear.
So we've talked about how he doesn't have that traditional experience, the legal stuff, how the
Does that even matter?
public is split, how the media is struggling to cover him. But what about his actual vision for Britain? Does he even have one?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? So
Yeah.
far, he's been pretty vague on actual policies. Strong words, especially on immigration.
Well, you know
But where's
what? I like how they're already like considering him the way that they're talking. Well, what's his policies?
detail? What would he actually do if he became prime minister?
Right. Like he said, British men died for British soil.
Dude, I really think that Andrew Tate, to be honest with you, has a good heart. He just has an ego problem.
Legal immigration will fall to zero enforced by the Royal Navy. Definitely got people's attention. But what does that actually mean in terms of policy?
Exactly. Even that statement.
Oh, something got unplugged. When he gets a hold of something, he gets obsessed and he goes as hard as possible. So I'm sure he would study, but once you give a guy like that power, it's so scary.
And it brings up a lot of questions. Using the Royal Navy like that, huge costs, huge logistical problems, not to mention what other countries would think. And legally, could be a minefield. Forcing illegal immigration down to zero with military force probably breaks international law.
Okay, so we've got a candidate, massive online following, but no clear plan, facing serious legal trouble. And
Dude, that sounds about right. Like, wake up. These are what politicians are now. No plan, criminal record. It's like mafia. Like, it exposes what business really is, and it's like scamming, strategy, marketing, and creating some illusion to sell.
the whole UK is debating about him. Seems like this brings up some huge questions about the future of politics, doesn't it?
It really does. This whole thing, it shows that clash between social media, fast-paced, grabs your attention, and politics, which is slower, more complex, more thoughtful.
And it also makes us face some uncomfortable truths about how we're choosing leaders in this digital age.
Yeah, one thing that worries me is all the misinformation, the potential.
Yeah. I think things are going to hit a peak where all these influencers and stuff, something pops where things will have to be less meme worthy, or we're just going to be running ourselves into the ground more, because it's like whoever has more Instagram followers is going to win. Plain and simple. That don't mean shit.
For manipulation. Social media, it's built to keep you hooked. And that means it often pushes the most extreme, most divisive stuff.
It's like those platforms, the way they're built, it just makes people more divided, makes it harder to talk about important things in a calm, fact-based way.
Exactly. It's so easy to get caught up in all the outrage, but we got to take a step back. Think critically. Be careful about the information we see.
Be more media literate.
Exactly.
And be open to talking to people who disagree with us.
Yeah, respectfully, of course. It's about building a political culture where we value thinking things through, having real debates, not just reacting to whatever's the most shocking thing we see.
Not just getting swept up in the hype.
Right. It's a tough check.
It's just weird now because these people are the faces of things. We didn't used to have the people that were behind the scenes, the face of things. Like Elon Musk is, they're calling everything an oligarchy, but it's always been that way. But the backers, the people with the money, have never been the face of everything. And Elon Musk and like Andrew Tate, big money, want to be the face of everything. You know.
Challenge, but it's important. If we want to keep democracy healthy in this digital age, we got to figure it out.
Right. Okay, so we're back for the last part of our deep dive into, well, this whole Andrew Tate running for prime minister thing. We've covered a lot, right? His background, the legal stuff, all the financial things hanging over his head, and of course, how divided everyone is about it.
Yeah, we've really seen how this has kind of thrown a wrench into things, like how the media covers politics, how parties campaign, even how we think about, what it means to be qualified to lead.
Makes you wonder what's going to happen next. Will Tate's campaign just kind of fizzle out? Or could this actually change things in the UK?
I think when someone does this, it'll change things because win or lose, they start to put pressure, and then these other politicians are like, damn, a guy like that's just going to expose us because he's got nothing to lose. He's already been through it. He's loud as hell, and he's vicious.
In the long run.
Well, it's tough to say for sure, but we can think about a few possibilities. One is, maybe it just loses momentum. He runs into more legal trouble, can't get people beyond his, online fans to actually vote for him. Or maybe he just realizes politics isn't for him.
It's definitely a different game.
I don't think he has anything else to do.
It takes a different kind of commitment,
Right. But
why not get in the game?
It could still have an impact. Like, it's showing how the old ways of campaigning, they might not work so well anymore. Parties might need to figure out new ways to reach voters, especially younger people.
Especially since they're mostly getting their news online.
Yeah, it's like a wake-up call for the whole political system. Like, hey, you can't ignore social media. You got to adapt.
I don't think anyone's
so
ignoring
you're saying
it.
Maybe this opens the door for more people.
I think we're there, and we've been there. Definitely the last couple of years. We've definitely been there.
Like Tate to run for office. Yeah. People who, wouldn't have had a chance before.
Could be. It might mean we see more candidates who come from outside politics, who use social media
and we
to
need
connect
that.
with people directly.
I guess that could be.
We do need that. I wouldn't say such rich bastards, but we need new emerging politicians for sure. We need people to think of it as not politics, as like being a humanitarian.
Be good or bad, huh? Depends who these people are, what they believe.
Exactly. That's the big question. Are we making politics more democratic, giving anyone a chance? Or are we just heading towards a system where it's all about fame and, shock value?
True. That's what I was saying before. Because the shock value and fame just works. It's always worked. And it's cheap, though.
Experience and real policy ideas don't matter as much.
It's complicated, that's for sure. One thing's for sure, though. This isn't the end of the story.
Nope, this is just the beginning. We'll have to see how it all plays out, and we'll definitely keep exploring these questions as things develop.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought. Whether Andrew Tate becomes prime minister or not, this whole situation, it's a sign of a much bigger change happening. How we talk to each other, how we get information, how we choose our leaders, it's all changing. And it's up to us, all of us, to make sure this change leads to something good, something that makes our democracy stronger, something that benefits everyone.
Couldn't have said it better.
Right, and that's true.